It's time for another Two Women Talking. This Two Women Talking, Bianca is back. Bianca from Myself and Comics. And we are talking about, well, we off air we started, should it be red flags in friendships, flags in friends? Bianca, I'm more sort of about the friendship because I don't like judging people, but sometimes relationships are not good for us. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Uh, Okay, so this is basically like when the relationship may need a tune up. We're gonna stay away from insisting that somebody is just an inherently bad person because I think that those sorts of negative assumptions about people are part of what ruins friendships.
Mhm.
Bianca, do you have a particular red flag you want to start? Because I did like a Google thing, and all of the categories are really vague and unhelpful. So, where do you want to start? Do you have a place you want to like pick up on?
I have a sticky note.
Oh, okay.
Um, so these ones are just a lot of these are from personal relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So I just feel kind of sad that a lot of these times this is with online friendships. I don't have these problems with personal, like in person friendships at
Mm-hmm.
all, which I find very interesting. So one thing I did write on here was did I forget to write it? I did forget to write it, so I'll just say it verbally.
Mm-hmm.
Uh Communication problems.
Mm-hmm.
Either tons of communication or lack thereof. There's many different people who communicate differently.
Yeah.
And so anytime I was in a friendship with somebody online, I would sometimes either get a rant or sometimes I would have them like they sent me a message of, are you okay? Did I
Mm-hmm.
do something to annoy you? Are you angry at me? Do you still want to become friends? Or one time there was this oh, something they said, which was uh what kind of friendship or relationship is this? And I
Okay.
would say, what's going on? And then they would reply with, you don't talk.
Okay.
And I would say, yeah, I'm not a talker. I'm actually very introverted. I'm pretty antisocial. I'm a majority of the time to myself. And then many times when I see this happening a lot, I'm like, okay, so let me tell you something about me.
Mm-hmm.
I have friends in real life. I don't talk to them much.
Right.
Many times I am contacting them every 3 to 6 months.
Okay.
I have a friend group where we all used to work at the same place, and we hung out a couple months ago, and we haven't hung out for about a year or so.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that's completely normal. I one time spoke to them about it, and I'm like, sorry if it seems like I'm distant or whatever. And they were like, what are you talking about? We know how you are. We're completely fine with it.
Right.
It's like sometimes we'll hang out and you're just not there, but we don't take it personally. You don't take it personally. And I'm like, of course not.
Right.
But with online friendships, it's a constant issue. Like they are wanting me to do so much contact. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not that type of person. I can't do that. And so when I tell them this example, they're like, I don't believe you. And I'm like,
Whoa.
what? And they're like, you go on YouTube, you
Oh,
interview
that's
people,
different. That's
you
different. It's so
you go
different. Yeah.
live, you post and all that stuff. And I'm like, that's not the same thing. I'm doing
No.
this as a hobby. I'm required to talk, but that doesn't mean I'm not severely burnt out because I'm talking, I'm asking questions, and that's like an hour, 30 minutes. Like that's draining. And then after I finish my interview, I go to bed, take a
Right.
nap.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And
think,
so,
yeah. And interviewing isn't the same as Hangouts. The
no, I
flow of
don't
the
know these
convers yeah.
people.
Yeah. Well, also the flow of the conversation is very different. There's usually a topic in advance and you know about how long it's going to be and you have a basic idea of a beginning, middle and end, whereas if you're, you know, handling your friends that way, I think that's it sounds, I mean, what you're describing sounds like somebody just wants you to be an entertainment committee for them instead of yourself. And that's not good.
Yes, no, unfortunately, many times of these type of friendships, I am no longer friends with, so it's because it's been too much of that. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, well, we live in an age. I was sort of stunned the first time I heard. You ever heard the term transactional friendship?
Yes.
Yeah, like the networking friendship. And to me, that's not a friend. If someone is an acquaintance that you have a mutual business, you know, direction with, you are aligned business wise. That's not the same as a friend. A friend is going to be a friend even if they can't get something from you.
Mhm.
But it seems like more and more people aren't interested in friendships for the sake of just, I like this person, they're interesting, they seem like a good person, I just want hangouts. And that those sort of transactional things where you know every time someone contacts you they want something, those are just exhausting. Do you find that? Like there's certain people you don't hear from them in months, an email comes in or something like that. You know they want something.
Yep, I actually put that on here too.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Yeah.
Many times for my relationships in the past, it was either I put on my sticky note, I think it's called putting it out. So
Okay.
either they would refuse to say anything that's bothering them, or they put it all out on you unnecessarily. And when I say putting it all on you, I mean like whatever problems they're having, like physical,
Right.
mental wise, that kind of stuff. It's just a constant thing, and you're just being hit over the bat with it. And I'm just like, listen, I I can be a friend about this. I can be empathetic and
Mm-hmm.
sympathetic to what's going on, but when it becomes too much that I am most likely having empathy overload,
Yeah.
then that's when I feel like you actually need some possible professional help because I can't constantly listen to all of this all the time
Oh,
and not have it affect me
I
negatively.
I have a particular pet peeve of someone who, after they have been behaving badly for a prolonged period of time, they'll say, my mistake is that I used you like my therapist. And it's like, okay, good start. But they don't seem to realize that that is a drain. It doesn't seem like a legitimate recognition that they were dumping too much on me and it was inappropriate. It's an out. It's an attempt to dodge actual accountability for what they did wrong. You know, how were you treating me like your therapist? What's the problem with that? Ghost. The conversation ends. And at that point, it's like I don't do platitudes and I don't do bullshit. Like if we're gonna have the conversation, let's have the conversation. And that's really rare. People who can actually have a tough conversation, very rare. And I know
Hmm.
you can. Like, you are somebody that really, first of all, you're very understanding of people, but also you'll have the conversation to work stuff out, right? Like that's
Right.
I was kind of I wouldn't have this conversation with somebody who I thought was a red flag themselves. And I want to run this one by you because I hear this one a lot. The idea that somebody will be a complete fuckwad on the internet. And that is a fairly recent red flag for me. Back last October, I decided if somebody is an internet troll, nah, can't be friends. It's a red flag for me. I that my opinion has evolved on that, but someone, can be a complete fuckwad on the internet, and I'll be, you know, do you talk to people like this in real life? And they're, oh, I don't talk to my friends about things I feel strongly about. Have you heard this?
Yes.
What do you think is going?
It's either that or they have no actual in real life friends to talk to, so they only have friends online, which I also considered a red flag.
Like if you if you're not talking to your friends about your sincere beliefs, why do you consider them friends? I've never understood that. That's something like that's a values mismatch with me.
Hmm.
So I consider that a red flag. Like if somebody said, "Oh, I don't talk this way around my friends," I'm like, um, all right, that's interesting. Like, why not? Oh, because I don't think they take it well. Okay, why not? And usually it's because what they're saying is patently offensive and kind of cruel, right?
Yes. And then on the online, you are anonymous. People can not know about your life as much as possible. So you have, what's it called? The relief
Mm-hmm.
of, quote unquote, doing what you want online with little to no repercussions,
But
if there
that's
isn't any.
that's what I realized about people who troll online. I used to think that that was just them blowing off steam because, they had a stressful job or something like that, and they weren't really like that. And I've changed my mind on that. These are people who are choosing to be cruel for kicks. And that is just something that either somebody finds fun or not fun. And
Hmm.
I can recognize that people like that exist, but I'm never going to consider them a friend.
Some people can actually troll very well to the point where it doesn't look like trolling. It looks like something it's kind of
Concern
hard to
trolling. Eh,
concern
mhm.
trolling,
Yeah.
right? And then because of you don't think about the history sometimes
Yeah.
so much. Like there was times when I would read something and I would say, that's okay, this person is feeling this.
Right.
They're obviously the victim of what's going on. You start to think about it more of other things they have said and what they have done historically, and you're like, wait,
Yeah.
this person could actually be um what's it called? Causing,
Right.
or what's it called? Was it poking the bear
Right.
kind of thing? And you're like, okay, that's or there sometimes will be making extremely vague posts online. And you're like, wait, but this doesn't make sense. There was a time when there was a vague post and I commented on it. I think I told somebody about it too. I'm like, this post seems kind of vague. They're like, yeah, we should. And then we both commented, like, hey, this seems kind of vague. Like, you're making it seem like it's a person's fault but not another thing's fault. Like the
Right.
cause is different. And they're like, okay. So they deleted it, wrote another one. It was still extremely vague and it was
Right.
actually a lot worse. And we're like, this does not look
Yeah,
better
okay.
at all.
Sometimes I will say, because I hate doing this and I have to do this sometimes because you have to protect your reputation, but you're dealing with somebody who likes to like falsely claim harassment and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So you have to vague post just because you know the minute that that person's name comes out of your keyboard, you've got months more of problems.
What's funny is that the post was vague, but the situation on the platform was not.
That's interesting.
People already knew about it, or it's at least some people behind the scenes knew about it, but the post was making it
Oh,
difficult for people to understand. And I'm like, if you want people to understand, say what it is. But many times I'm just like, is this a post for sympathy points? I'm not sure.
yeah, I'm not on public social media very much anymore. I finally got to the point where I could hire somebody to the minute everything went video like Instagram, TikTok, I'm like, nope, this is too exhausting. But, you know, I never really got people on social media. And I just assume because I was sort of putting a lot of energy to kind of mask extroverted on social media. I just sort of assumed everybody was doing that. But then I noticed people who don't need to, who sort of revel in picking fights, like you said, poking the bear, right?
Dopamine.
Or just, yeah, I don't know how you get dopamine doing that. It is cortisol to me. That is stress. You
Yeah,
know, I don't know how
it's
people
anxiety craps to me.
I guess it, well, yeah, but I don't know how people can get dopamine going on, you know, Blue Sky and talking about genocide every single day. Like, even saying the word to me makes me upset. And
Yeah, it's why this year I'm like I have not been on I've barely been on social media. The only thing I've been on for the past probably almost month or so has just been YouTube. But then there's the algorithm too, which
yeah,
doesn't tend to help. But out of all the other social medias, was just constant talk about it, I'm like, okay, YouTube is the best platform for me right now. Just watch some videos, go to bed.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I watch animal videos on like Instagram and TikTok, stuff like that. Like that's what I like. Capybara videos, bats eating, stuff like that. The people who just I to pivot to another red flag for me personally. There's a difference between somebody saying, you know, I have this condition or I have this mental illness. It's another thing when when they use it to get away with shit. Like it's the end of a conversation, not the beginning of it. Do you know what I mean? I want to be clear. It's not about having a mental illness. I have a lot of friends with like mental illnesses, obviously, based on what I do. But do you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
yeah,
Like
like,
Ariana Grande said in Wicked, which I saw for the first time the other day.
oh, what did you think of it?
It was great. I need a second rewatch because my nephew was the main point of
Oh,
the
that,
movie, apparently.
see that it is better the second time. I will say that. But Wicked's one of those things where they're not friends. I have never
Yeah, I was
understood.
told online that they were friends, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, when does the friendship begin? Because we're an hour left into the movie.
They
When's
go
the friendship?
from loathing to fly. I mean, Glinda does one nice thing out of guilt, but kind of for her own social climbing,
Yes.
and that's supposed to be a friendship. And I've never quite, because I mean, that whole nice thing she did at the party was she had to do it because she set Elphaba up to be humiliated.
I was so angry when the sister didn't step up. I was like, man, come on.
Okay,
That teared me.
that
I was tearing.
that's a bit of a pun there, Bianca. Because the sister literally can't stand, but I know what you mean.
Oh, dang it.
That was funny. That was darkly funny. I got what you meant. But see, this is when I have Bianca's back because somebody was going to say something if I didn't say it. But yeah, the sister's a complicated character, and I'm curious about what they do in the second book because I know that Wicked's supposed to be a story about friendship, but I've never quite gotten that because Galinda's not a good
No,
person.
no. I was like, this isn't the good witch, Galinda. This is the fake nice. Not fake nice, nice. She is
Yeah.
the nice witch because niceness can be faked, kindness cannot. So
Yeah.
she's a nice witch, and then it's all like passive aggressive niceness, and I'm just like, I want to punch you so bad.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess she does sort of help Elphaba a little bit at the end during the very, very extended Defying Gravity scene in the movie. But, knowing people like Galinda ironically reminds me of the girls I used to do dance with when I was competing. There was so many girls like that. And I was Elphaba. I was just the weird one who never quite fit in and work my butt off but never quite fit in. And I do personally, for me, I and this might be a yellow flag more than a red flag, but people who are particularly interested in popular, I don't make good friends with those people. And I use that word I said I don't make good friends with them because I think in that case it's about me, not about them. You know?
Mm.
Like I just think too many kind of past bad experiences get hit. And if I'm constantly gonna be on my guard, I'm not, you know, I'm not going to consider them a friend until I get over that. And that's one of the things when I did research for this show, this topic. Um one of the things I saw over and over and over again was a red flag in a friendship is you're walking on eggshells around the other person. And I sat with that one because that could be them. That could also be me. I am very careful not to be a chicken shit in personal relationships.
It's the same with me with
Yeah.
online relationships.
Yeah.
Like if a person is known for trauma, PTSD, them being neurodivergent
Hmm.
of any type, uh, I'm just like, okay, I don't want to trigger anything. I gotta make sure I'm talking about, you know, not so heavily into this. I don't want to mess them up or anything. But
Right.
then there were some where despite them being neurodivergent or having conditions of saying like, hey, I can't improve myself because I have all these things going on, and
Yeah.
because of that I can't do what you tell me to do. My brain
Yeah,
won't allow it.
that's a red flag.
But yeah, but
That
then out of nowhere that person started improving. We have
right.
no idea why this person finally started to improve, but they even talked about him like, hey, I'm trying to improve. I understand, like, and I'm like, okay, they're socially aware. Let's clap, everybody. Let's
Yeah.
clap. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because I had
let's
friends
reward it. Yeah.
and I was like talking to other friends about it. And I'm like, this is great. They're improving. And they're like, yeah, I'm so happy now. And then out of nowhere, they started falling back into the habit. And we're like, what happened? You were doing so well. And then it just became the constant thing of, well, I'm never going to be this, da, 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 da. I
Oh.
shouldn't have friends. And I'm like, oh, the pity party. No, please.
I should probably have more tolerance for pity parties than I do. I part of it is just my own mental health. I can't catch the brainworms. But that's what I'm talking about somebody who uses like their mental health to end discussions instead of beginning them. Because I'm totally good with, okay, you have this challenge, I have this need. What do we do about it? As opposed to what you said. Like, what I can't stop what you're telling me to stop because I have this thing. And that is just, especially the neurodivergent card, that's BS. I know a lot of neurodivergent people. I am neurodivergent. It can be more challenging for someone, but they can do it, right?
And I
It can
could
be,
be neurodivergent. I don't know yet.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it wasn't a thing when I was a kid. So a lot of us had to just, but I mean, it was there, but the guidelines for what classified. I mean, we had never heard of ADD or anything like that when I was a kid. That came up after I was well out of school. But, different people have unique challenges, and it is more art than science figuring out, okay, what are we going to tolerate because they don't mean to, and like to me, and what are the like red lines, and to me it's like you said, if they seem to really be working on it, if they're catching themselves, if they're putting in the work, and they're putting in the work that other people ask them to do, not just what they feel fun doing, I will stick with that person to the end. The minute I feel like I'm slacking, like they're slacking, I'm out. I can't. Like just for me. And that's why I want to talk about the friendship, not the person, because I don't think they're a bad person. They're just not good for me. Does that make sense?
Compatibility,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is what I've talked to people before, and I'm like, hey, this is how you do it. This is how I do it. We're obviously at possibly an impasse. If you feel like we're us being opposite this way is just not compatible, then something might have to be done.
Right.
But usually they would say, no, no, it's okay. And I'm like, we'll see. We'll
Well, oh,
see.
that's a big red flag for me. If somebody tells me something is okay, and then they blow up at me later and it wasn't okay, they lied, and they're mad at me because I thought it was okay, that is usually a friendship ender, believe it or not. That is something I don't respond to well at all, because to me that's a major form of lying. I would rather somebody go, no, no, it's not okay, here's what you have to do to make it okay, than for somebody to go, it's okay, and then hold a grudge. I can't trust people like that, you know?
I actually wrote both of those. I put one
Oh, there you
as
go.
I said I'm not comfortable. Usually because I'm like, hey, I would be asked about something and I'm like, I'm not comfortable with that. And they're like, okay. And then I get asked about it again and I'm like, still not comfortable with it. And they're like, no, okay, okay. Uh, do you want to do this? And I'm like, I don't know how many times I have to say I'm not
Right.
comfortable with it. Like you said that you understood that you're fine, you said it was okay, but you still keep asking me just because it's a different day, they're asking me doesn't mean I'm gonna somehow be okay with it. And then the other one I wrote was I don't remember where I heard this. I don't know if this was like a real life interaction
Hmm.
or if I got this from a show or a movie, but there was something that happened. Two people were talking. One of them is a known gossiper, and they told somebody, "Hey, listen, I may over exaggerate, but I'm not lying about this." And I'm like, over exaggerating, over lying. And are they the same thing? Or
It,
is there a
I think sometimes exaggeration can be for sort of dramatic effect and it's not true, but I don't think it's intentionally deceiving. Lying is intentionally deceiving. And the minute Someone falsely accuses me of that, dead to me. I don't know, that is just one, it's another one of those things that just nope, because I work very hard to be truthful about the tough stuff and I take a lot of crap for it. I get called a bitch a lot, usually behind my back where they think I can't hear, but oh no, I can hear. Or there's the euphemisms about it, right? And
Hmm.
so when someone thinks that I go through all of that to make it clear where I'm at about something, that I would be lying because it's convenient for them, to me, that's not about me. That's about them. And it's a manipulation tactic. They may not realize it's a manipulation tactic. But when someone goes, stop lying, and you're not lying, where do you go from there?
That one was like hard for me to decipher. It's still kind of hard for me to decipher because when that happened before to me, my thought was, well, I should at least have to try and defend myself. I can bring up examples, I can bring up history, I can bring up stuff to like help my case a little bit.
Right.
But then with that conversation, it didn't matter because
No.
they already have this image of you, and it could have been great, like a great image of you for years. Out of
Right.
nowhere, this one little snippet that is a lot of times not true, but
Right.
they will believe it, whether probably because they want to or some sort of insecurity, that type of thing. They just go full force on it. And I was
Hmm.
like, okay, that's great. That's really, I'm like,
But again,
I,
that's not about you. That's about them. If they give you a complete personality transplant to win an argument, that's not going to be a one-time thing. They will do that again.
I believe it. Have you
Yeah.
ever had a friendship, whether it is, oh, also, if I am peaking, I apologize. If have you ever had a friendship where they're still current or like it went out well or no longer current where they purposely talk about same interests or things that are relatable to both of you, but as a way to purposely try and get a friendship with you. And then when the friendship happens, uh, what they're interested in is completely different now, or was slightly over exaggerated to get your attention.
Oh, like they were trying to force closeness?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one I probably should be more vigilant against, but God, I have so many things. But I get what you're saying. It's almost like they were trying to reel you in, and then it's like I don't really care about it. You know, it's when they actively start shitting on it or insist that you like it the same way they do that really gets me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I really like video games. There are other people who really like video games, but I do not want the negativity. I don't want to be that kind of gamer, you know? And when people start going, oh, this game sucks or something like that, I'm like, I don't think so. Well, and they just don't let it go, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, we may claim to both like comic books or we both like uh games, but these are big categories and we clearly do not like them for the same reasons.
Right.
And that's something that sometimes takes a while to figure out. But I know
I feel
for
like everything takes me a while to figure
well,
out.
that's I think you're just more self-aware than the average person because when someone says, "Oh, I really like something," and I don't, it's like, "Well, why do you like it?" And sometimes it'll change my mind on something, or sometimes it'll give me a more positive framing on it, and it'll actually increase my enjoyment of something, as opposed to when someone's just fight me about things. No, I don't want to hang around with that person. I'm not going to choose choose to spend time with someone who is profoundly negative about stuff that does not matter because it's draining, you know?
Yes.
Like, I guess some people are fueled by negativity, but I'm not. And I don't relish conflict. I don't love it. And when people are just bringing more into things than is necessary, that's something that took me a long time to figure out.
Hmm.
That I you can minimize the high conflict people in your life. Like it actually is an option, And I do think, the high I'm drama people. And there's
Yes.
kind of good drama and there's bad drama. Like there's
Hmm.
telenovela drama of people who are just a little out there, but they're not looking to hurt anybody. And then there's the people who are actually like you said, poking the bear. They're out there picking fights and causing trouble and saying things. You ever had a person say something that is reasonably understood to be objectionable and they get mad if you don't defend them?
Yes.
Yeah. And
Unfortunately, many of those times is lying, either about something, a situation, or someone. I have I've said before, like, you saying this is not only incorrect, but I'm not gonna help spread it.
yeah,
And I don't feel comfortable of you doing this. And then, I would be told, like, oh, like, you're not on my side. And
yeah,
I'm like, no, why would I? And I'm like, listen, if there was a possible situation that you can go to jail for, and to
right.
save you is me lying,
Well, then you could go
um,
to jail too.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, actually,
Somebody
yes,
somebody shouldn't ask you to do that. Yeah, that you're not on my side thing drives me crazy. Cause someone telling you they disagree with you in private is being on your side, right?
right. And I'm like, it may not seem like it to you, but me not going through with this is actually helping you
Right.
more than you realize.
Right.
But then many people uh purposely don't want help, but they sometimes in a subtle kind of way are asking for help. And I'm like, okay, I can see that there's a problem. Let me see if I can at least do something about it.
Right.
And then sometimes I would even offer to pay. And I'm like, I don't mind paying. You're in the US, so I don't have to pay any extra fees.
Right.
Uh, I have another friend who would also offer, and then me and them would be like, hey, so I want to help this person out. I want to help this person out too. Oh my gosh, what if we put our money together to help
Right.
this one person? And they're like, yeah, I think we can do that. And I'm
Yep.
like, okay, so hey, just so you know, we are willing to help. Like, we're
Yeah.
willing to put our money together, help you get the help that you need. Because honestly, we think that you do need it, and we think it'll be on the right track for you mentally.
Hmm.
And they're like, no, I don't need it. I'm fine. And I'm like, you're not fine.
When
I was
somebody doesn't accept help, I want to be careful. That's not a red flag, but it definitely is a yellow one. Especially if you do help somebody out and then it doesn't get any better. And like, well, I never asked for it. It's like, but show a little appreciation, right? Because not everybody gets that. There's a lot of people in the world where nobody gives a damn about them. So, somebody who can't see the good things they have in their life, that can't see the good, that's a red flag for me.
mhm.
And I'm not
I
talking about somebody who's having, an intermittent bout of depression, right?
right.
If they're seeing somebody for it and they're getting medications and they're in therapy, that's fine. It's people who think everything is bad, nothing is good is cool. Nah, you might be a fine person, but see ya.